In the heart of a loud, restless city, right outside a hospital gate, sat an old man, quietly leaning against a broken wall. His clothes were torn, his eyes tired, and in front of him lay a small rusted medicine box. People walked by in haste, barely noticing him. Some dropped a coin without looking. Others turned their heads, as if poverty was something to be ashamed of. No one knew his name. They just called him Baba. Every morning he would sit there, and every evening he would leave without a complaint. He never begged. He never asked. He simply waited for something. Or maybe someone. Among the crowd was a young hospital intern named Ali. Every day, he noticed Baba sitting in the same spot. What caught his attention was not his appearance, but the strange dignity in his silence, as if this man once belonged to another world. Ali had made it a habit to buy him a packet of food every evening. Baba would nod gently in thanks, and that was it. No words, no stories, until one day, Ali decided to ask. That evening, as the sun dipped behind a hospital building, painting the sky orange, Ali finally sat beside Baba and softly said, "You never speak much. Did you always live like this?" The old man chuckled, a soft, broken laugh. "No, Beta," he replied, his voice shaking. "Once, I wore a white coat. I was called Dr. Samir." Ali blinked, shocked. "You were a doctor?" Baba nodded. "I used to run a small clinic. I treated the poor for free. I believed healing was more important than money. I had a wife, a son, a name people respected." There was a long pause. A wind blew through the street, rustling his old shawl. Then he continued. "One night, 2 patients arrived at my clinic. One was a poor laborer, unconscious and bleeding. The other, the son of a powerful politician, with only a minor injury. I chose to save the laborer first." He smiled bitterly. "The politician didn't like that. Within weeks, my license was canceled. My clinic was sealed. Rumors spread that I was careless. No one stood by me. They all chose silence." Ali sat still, listening like a child listening to a bedtime story. Only this one was real and painful. "My wife fell ill. I had no job, no income, no help. She died in my arms, waiting for medicine I couldn't afford. After her death, her family took my son away, said I couldn't even protect my own home. And they were right." There was a strange calmness in his voice, the kind that only those who've truly lost everything can have. But I still believed in healing, in prayer. I come here every day, not to beg, but to remind myself that I was once something more, that I can still help if God allows. Just then, a loud cry echoed from across the road. A man had collapsed right in the middle of the footpath. People ran in panic, shouting for help, but no one knew what to do. Ali turned toward Baba. Before he could say a word, Baba had already stood up. His steps were slow, but his eyes focused. He reached the man, knelt beside him, checked his pulse, opened his rusted box, and began performing CPR, with hands that had once saved hundreds. Minutes later, the man coughed and opened his eyes. There was silence, then claps, then whispers. The hospital staff rushed out. One of the nurses stared at Baba and whispered, "Dr. Samir, is that really you?" Another voice joined in. The man who had fainted was a senior health department officer. After learning what had happened, he promised to reopen Baba's case, restore his license, and give him a home. Baba looked up, tears gathering in his old eyes, not out of sadness, but because after so many years, someone had finally seen him again. Ali, wiping his own eyes, softly said, "You saved a life today, Baba." And this time, the world was watching. Baba didn't reply. He just smiled, a smile of peace after a lifetime of storm. And for the first time in years, he stood up not as a beggar, but as a doctor,